You're over here tapping in with KWJT, Puget Sound from space. I'm over here with Corey. You're tapping in with Tavares and sliding with Solana. This is how we be sliding through the streets. KWJT, welcome back to another episode of the Groovy Tapes. Want to start off the episode with a whole lot of love. We appreciate the groovers at home for tapping in with us, and we truly appreciate you guys. Another shout out. We love you, Tranquil Forest. Thank you for always supporting us throughout the podcast. We really appreciate it. We're going crazy, brazy, AZ. You feel me? I have to bring that out for the first month. Crazy, brazy, AZ all month long. And without further ado, let me introduce this week's guest. We got Hoodycoob in the motherfucking building.
Come on. Come on.
What's good with y'all?
Oh, I'm good. All right. Hey, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, it lasted,
bro. It's gotta be the
1 minute. Brother was talking about how long he's gonna last in the episode
60
with
seconds.
with
It's the good basics though.
The good basic zip up.
Come on. Had to represent, that good Hoody dye. So I had to. I don't have many pieces, so I had to represent with.
Man, I was lacking. I seen the Slew episode. I was trying to come prepared. I not only had a little shelf piece, but I had some other shit for y'all. But I'm gonna bring that next time.
Oh, you're always welcome back.
Yeah, no worries. Also, we want to put it out there for our lovely guests. We don't be searching for the gifts.
It's not required. It's not required.
It's not required. But
the Slew set a precedent, so
yeah,
they came
shout out my brothers too.
Crazy too.
Oh yeah, that's regular though.
It is regular.
Yes. Shout out to all the Slew dads out there.
Come on,
I got first alley-oop shout out. I can call in
Slew Colors,
P.
Ant, right?
Security. I got a
security.
There's Sutaku.
There's a whole lot of
There's a whole lot of
Yes.
Had the rep today. Had to come correct. This is gonna be a great episode. Don't mind me. I'm about to roll this like little wood up real quick.
Yeah. For all the people at home who don't know, Hoody's definitely been supporting the podcast and been tapping in with us. Probably first comment king.
Facts.
We'll put that out there. Sorry, Umi, we love you. You definitely
it's close.
Been first comments multiple times, but Hoody is at pop-ups with the first comment. Hoody's on the premieres with first comment. So,
rain, sleet, or snow.
It's very much appreciated to have someone, I guess across the pond, but to have someone to actually tap in with us and really show support for the media that we're running. So
yeah, of course.
Thank you. Thank you for tapping in with us, and we see you out in the field, we see you at pop-ups, and you're always showing us major love. So it's only right to have you on the podcast and talk some shit with you, man.
Man, appreciate y'all for real. Love what y'all are doing, so it's only right. It ain't hard to click a like button or hit a comment or share. People be acting like it is sometimes, but
it's
it's love, man. It's love.
I love that you bring that up too, because a lot of people, I feel like when they, I guess I run into this a lot is when people like, oh, you be sharing people's stuff, you be liking people's things, you be posting a lot of people's stuff. Like, do you fuck with them? Do you like how do you know them? Do you guys go back? And I'm like, honestly, for us to thrive in this field, for us to appreciate each other truly, that's all it takes. That should be the bare minimum. If you're going to be supporting someone, if you're interested in someone's craft, or whether it be creative or whatever someone's doing something, all it takes is for you to maybe do a like. In this day and age, at least, we're surrounded by social media so much, and we kind of take that for granted that we're able to see someone's work from so far, and I think it's really important for our listeners to note that it costs $0 to support your people.
Come on. Before we get into this illustrious interview, I really want Tavares to share this how his week has been going. I want to share it. I want you to share a very specific story.
Yeah. No, I got you.
On your week before we get into this.
If you follow me on social media, you probably seen it. It was a crazy, brazy, AZ day. fucking. I think it was last Thursday before my shift.
Yeah.
I'm on my way to work. I commute. I take the bus, and I take my usual route, my 7 to my 40. I'm getting off the 7 in Chinatown, and I'm hitting the 40. And the 40 is this little island bus stop where you have to go and walk to get there. And then as soon as I get off, I just so happen to see this dude, and he's strung out, bro. He's hitting the crack or the mephiana. I don't know which one it is. I wouldn't know the details or the specifics behind, those kind of things. But he's hitting it, and this is regular shit. This ain't I'm not no stranger to seeing things like that. But I mean, middle of the day at 11:30 in the morning, I was kind of like, whoa. Anyways, fast forward, I'm walking past him. I have to walk past him to get to my bus stop. And I'm just sitting here it's going to be good. I'm going to just walk past him hella quick. No. I'm walking past him. All I hear is it's a fat drag. And then I'm like, okay, let me get past him. So, nothing crazy is going to happen. No, the craziest thing happens. Bro literally turns around and blows it in my walking direction. Blows it, fat cloud. Whew. And literally simultaneously, I'm like, he does the hit. I'm walking and he turns and literally blows it in my face. Cause I'm like, I'm not thinking nothing of it. I'm like, all right, he's not gonna do that crazy shit. He literally does it, and I get a fat cloud of crack or meth in my face. And at that very moment, I inhale at the same time. Oh, no. This is all split second. This is split second reaction.
You planned it.
He planned it. He seen me. Sorry if I'm yelling. He seen me, and he was like, all right, I'm about to get, bro. And bro, this is where the story ends. I basically secondhand smoked crack or meth in Chinatown. It was a great time. I was tweaking after. I felt like I was tweaking. I ain't never hit no crack before, bro. So I don't know what's going on.
And it might have just kind of been in your head too.
Yeah, it definitely was. I feel like it was 90% mental and 10% what the fuck.
And just nasty.
It's just ugh. It smelled like a deep ammonia or a heavy chemical. Yeah, and I was like, that's in your lungs. That's dangerous. Yeah, I don't condone none of that shit. I almost fought, bro. But people will experience things in life that are out of their control. When he did that, he looked at me and he was like, he did that shit. He literally took the fattest drag and was like, yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, he don't know what he's doing. He don't know what he's doing. He didn't see me. He didn't see my big ass. That's the end of the story.
Thank you for sharing.
I might have hit the crack. I might have been high off the crackiana.
Is that the first applause? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Good times, fun times in Chinatown in Seattle.
I just wanted our audience to really get to know you. If they don't follow you, if they're really only subscribed, they kind of just watch. I gotta let them know you don't be sharing these experiences on the pod.
Yeah, I keep it very clean and professional. Sometimes I don't know if the guests want to hear my crazy shit. You never know, if you're clicking on South and Siva story, or if you're seeing his tweets, you'll never know what to expect.
Twitter's lit.
That you see one thing, oh man, he's talking about this, and then the next thing he's talking about buns.
Your Twitter is just
seconds apart, and what's going on in Tavares' head?
You cover sports, buns, and it's usually attacking white people attacking other people.
So is bun? I need to ask this: is buns just is it just referring to actual buns, or does it mean buns? That's just buns? Because that's me and the homies we'll be oh, that's buns, that's buns. We're not fucking with that. Or are you literally just talking about cheeks?
It is half. It's 50% booty, 50% humbao.
Okay.
And actual buns.
Okay.
Thank you for asking the question.
I had to clarify. That's for y'all. That's for y'all. Because I was wondering. I know everybody else was.
I'll for my close friends and for my families that don't want to be seeing Tavares talk about buns like half the day. I apologize first and foremost.
Half the day,
yeah.
Wake up and go to sleep. Buns on the mind,
man.
So let's start with your very illustrious career in the vintage world and just the collector space. I'm very curious, how you started in it. I would say I'm very new to collecting, but the more we kick it and get to talk, I know you've been doing it for a couple decades now, and just you're very we've talked about it, but I want you to bring the people into where it started because it was really dope to me when you told me.
Honestly, my mom got me into just thrifting in general, just because she worked 2 jobs when I was young, to provide, and worked at Nordstrom, so I knew how to style shit and stuff, and she just knew the stuff was there. So when I was super young, I was buying books. I was a super big reader, so I'd go instead of the library, because I was a kid who always lost stuff. Yeah, I would go get the books at the thrift and then redonate them, get some new books, and then get a little bit older, and I'm of course I want toys and stuff, but that was yo, you got to get the books. But then clothes were something hey, not the toys, but the clothes. So I'm okay, now I'm looking for stuff that I want to wear at school. If it's a fucking Dragon t-shirt or some Yu-Gi-Oh shit, I'm hyped if I find it in the thrift store. So fast forward a few years, I start collecting sportswear. I just super into hip hop. Yeah. So I start collecting hella Raiders stuff, and then just sportswear. Fire. So starter jackets, Logo Athletic, stuff like that. So I just started stacking up, and probably turned into a business by the time I got to senior year of high school. I was wearing that type of stuff when a lot of people weren't. And people would literally off the back, bro, how much you want for that? I'm oh shit, I got other stuff. I got you. So I don't know. It is always just kind of a lifestyle, but I had to pay homage to my mom. That's fire. And then as far as collecting, I just seeing shit in movies and like I said, I was infatuated with hip hop. So just seeing shit that they would wear back then. Yeah. I think the only thing I started collecting then that I still collect now is Champion jerseys. I love vintage, even the reps. Fire. I love Champion jerseys. So that's kind of how I started in the game, and then it just kind of grew from there.
When did I'm curious for someone who's been doing it and seen the waves of it come and go. When did you see I would say mainstream people get into vintage, and what was that transition for you as
the Macklemore era?
Yeah,
he brought it up. That's really when stuff started going a little different, because I would go to the thrift stores and there'd literally be maybe a couple families there, but I would never see anybody else my age unless it was another kid with his mom. Yeah. But once I was old enough to start going thrifting by myself, early high school, late middle school, no one else was in there looking for anything. And then it all of a sudden just got flooded. Everybody's trying to pop tags. So that's kind of when it got crazy. And then obviously social media with different outfit styling, Instagram. There's been Depop. There's been a bunch of different other fads that have popped up. But I can definitely say that influenced it, especially out here. Yeah. I'm sure it happened in other states too, maybe a little bit later. But definitely he was super, popping out here. That. So yeah. I would say that's when I started seeing more comp in the thrift stores besides just other homies. That's all I would run into, and just oh, this dude's kind of wearing similar to what I'm wearing.
He knows what's up.
Yeah.
Vintage wear was kind of frowned upon before that era.
He would be cooking you if you shop at the thrift, for sure. Yeah. But then I kind of saw the transition, because I went to Stadium for 3 years, and then my senior year I went to Wilson, and people at Stadium were more likely to cook me for some shit. But then once I got to Wilson, people were yo, trying to buy shit off my back. What type of shit is that? So
where'd you get it?
Yeah, it was different, man.
Yeah, because I didn't. I was never I never grew up thrifting. We would just go back. I was never super into clothes. I loved it as an aesthetic. I paid attention and studied, but I was never that's where I'm spending my money. As soon as I started getting jobs and shit like that, we just smoke weed.
Oh, yeah.
That's all.
That was the other half for me. That was the same. Probably when I was 18, I got my own place. So simultaneously, I was trapping out of there to make rent. And then the reason I started having to sell clothes legit, I'm yo, I don't have nothing on paper. I got the Ma Dukes cosign. Appreciate you again. But hey, I'm 18. I gotta like, I think 17 going on 18.
Yeah.
But like, hey, I gotta like prove that I'm making this money. So I started a big cartel website and then just started like clearing out my closet. And that time I had like almost 100 like different jackets. And then I think at the peak I had like damn near 1,200 hats. It's actually how I met Baca.
Damn.
Through like some Facebook forum shit. And like we had definitely seen each other around, but didn't really know who each other were.
Yeah.
And he, I think was like, he was a super collector, super head, but at the time was like doing like hat restoration and like I had like dabbled in it, but it was just way too lazy and had hella hats that I needed done.
Yeah.
So that's how we ended up linking. So on some like, on some random.
Oh, that's a great duo starting because just like I love seeing you guys together and apart just because like you guys are very true to like putting people up on what your homies are doing and like showing that love of just like, now, if you like this, I got like 6 other homies that are up on the same shit or like may have deeper like connections into like what you're looking for. When did that like, I guess that very selfless aspect of you just like start? Were you always a person to be like I guess a dot connector of like, oh, my homie?
Yeah, I feel like that's like been my gift because I could talk to like the most hood motherfuckers and I could talk to some business executive and find some kind of common ground. So just like linking people up too and just like, I don't know, maybe just like growing up in different neighborhoods and, moving around a little bit. But it's just like, it's always just like, why not? Why not try to link people up? Like, that's just like, I feel like it's not even across the pond. Like, the whole like Seattle Tacoma thing. Like, it's just like, it's just a 45-minute drive.
It's
like,
really
I feel like
easy.
PDX, Tacoma, Seattle, it's all just like, I mean, where else? If you start venturing out, to weird towns and you're going to start seeing weird flags and it's going to start getting scary. The places I want to go thrift, but I can't, So, I don't know. I feel like it's just such a blessing that we have, those, 3 little hubs. If it wasn't for that, I'd probably been moved out of Washington.
Where would you go? Where's another like poppin' city you see yourself in? Just out of curiosity.
Man, I don't even know. I would just try to put myself somewhere where I might be a little uncomfortable and just figure it out. But definitely somewhere warm, maybe Texas. I don't know. Hawaii's dope, but I don't feel like, it'd be like right to like move there. I don't really want to take away from those people, but I would love to move down there.
I mean, I feel like most things, if you're somewhere long enough, you become Hoody from down the block. Like if you
for sure.
spend 5-6 years in it, and like I love that you're a person that always adds to wherever you are. So it's like I feel like if you move anywhere, especially like the islands, that they would be like so ingratiating how you are just as a human being that it would be love over a couple of years. It'd be like, all right, nah, Hoody ain't on no bullshit.
No, the few times I visited down there, I got people's down there too, so they do be showing love. But I know it's definitely sensitive down there in certain parts. So
that makes sense.
A lot of people are doing some fucked up shit.
No facts. And you Caucasians.
Oh yeah, you Corey already know. That's why he's like. That's why he's.
I was waiting for.
I was treading real carefully on the pod.
No, I was waiting for Tavares to come out. Tavares told me I couldn't go to Hawaii. Basically,
well, I stopped our trip. We're supposed to go as a team.
Yeah.
And just the light of the events, long standing. It's not even like us specifically. I just don't want to be that. I don't want to be that group. I know we won't be that group, and a lot of us won't. You
come there and respect. Respect the island. Respect.
You're
the
not
people.
like Jennifer Lawrence wiping your ass on ancient rocks.
And pick up more trash than you leave. Like not even like just pick up after yourself. Like if you see some shit, like
take care of it.
I hit you with the doozy with the Jennifer Lawrence.
No, I did, bro. She kind of straight.
No, she took a trip to Hawaii.
I don't know about
I'm going to educate people.
Please do. I ain't heard this.
Jennifer Lawrence took a trip to Hawaii. I think it was a vacation, and she was with her friends and family. And there's these rocks that come from the volcano, and as I don't know if people knew, but throughout Hawaiian history, the volcano is seen as like a deity. The rocks came down from the formation, and there's like this like a wall of rocks that you're not supposed to touch, or at least you're not. There's a custom where you're not supposed to take any of like. You're not supposed to leave Hawaii with sand or like their rocks, their natural like island.
The environment.
Yeah, the environment.
Yeah, anything
Sorry.
from the land.
Anyways, long story short, she got intoxicated. She was with her friends. She was lit. Locals. She was around this rock formation, and she was like sitting against it. And a bunch of locals was like, "Hey, you shouldn't be sitting next to that, and like that's like sacred to us." And she was like, "Oh, these rocks? Fuck these rocks!" And like started wiping her ass on the rocks. And it's like that's something, if you're gonna go somewhere, if you're gonna travel, like why would you do that to that like indigenous populace? Like why would you do that to their things that they hold sacred? It's kind of like if they walked into your house and like your favorite object, they like went up to your object, put that between their buns. That's crazy.
Grab their PS5 real quick.
That's crazy, bro. That's not okay. So that brings up. That's why like I've been having this feeling like I've been wanting to hit the islands for so long, but with all the things going on in Hawaii with Mauna Kea, their water source being polluted because of the American Navy. Come on. And then this recent event, I'm gonna go on a little tangent. Sorry,
no, brother.
But this
I brought it up.
Let
Come on,
hear your voice.
That's what I said earlier. Come on, we love it.
The recent event of underwater volcanic eruption happened in the South Pacific, specifically near Tonga, the Kingdom of Tonga. It's a South Pacific island. Right now, the South Pacific has been receiving acid rain, earthquakes, and tsunami warnings, as well as tsunamis. And this happened like about a couple days ago from this recording. So just having that in the back of the head, and I've spoken about it on the podcast too, being a Polynesian American. It's crazy, bro. It's like having your homeland being stripped from you. I don't know if like within like 20, 25 years, if it's going to be underwater or not, and that should be crazy on my mind. I'd be like, bro, this is crazy. So I always appreciate when I'm able to speak about this type of thing. It's why I have those strong feelings of like when people visit these places, because, we've been basically enslaved by the tourist industry. For a lot of the South Pacific islands, and I'll even say islands in general, because the
you get
Caribbean
price hiked out of your own home.
Yeah,
literally. It's happening here. It's just gentrification.
Yeah,
everywhere.
So it's that's why I have the very strong feeling of like stopping myself, and if my friends want to go and do it, if my family wants to go do it, at least get educated on what's happening over there. And if you're gonna go, at one huge thing I've seen a lot of people do these days is donate when they make their trip. At least make that a part of the itinerary, or you get in touch with the locals, because that's so important. You get this sense of erasure when people go to your homeland, take these photos up for Instagram, like destroy our beaches, destroy our wildlife, and like basically like erase us. So all in all, everyone should at least visit the South Pacific once in their lifetime. While I say what I just said, I encourage everyone in the world to get at least go experience like the island people, island life, because one day it's just not gonna be here. I'll be like, damn. If it might be too much for the game, but I'm trying to develop some underwater force field technology to turn the South Pacific into Atlantis.
Okay, I like that.
We can, Koi. We might edit that out later, but
just bleep him. Just let him talk and just bleep him.
One day, Tavares will be the king of Atlantis. Come on,
love to see it. Another one.
Big applause. Hoody, I wanted to ask you, what is your state of mind when you're developing dye with you and your homies? Because color palette is such a different game, and I feel like you especially, attack it in such a unique way. I have to know.
I appreciate that.
If you want to, you don't have to tell the trade secrets.
Nah, sometimes it's just inspiration. Sometimes I just literally just throw shit together. Sometimes I don't know. I've been like tie dyeing since I was like a kid, like when they were like back in the 90s doing tie dye parties and shit. So I always kind of like kept those skills, and then once I like was always thrifting and like would find shit fucked up, and then like just being a kid, I used to run through just clothes, shoes. So once I got old enough to figure out like, okay, I can distress this and dye this stuff, like in high school, like I just had a few patterns that I kind of messed with, and like I went on YouTube like easy and like just kind of studied it, and then I kind of just took a little bit from here, a little bit from there, and kind of mashed it up. So every time I try to do something new, or maybe I'll go back to an old pattern that I haven't used in a while. And then as far as colors, it's just inspiration, just like however I'm feeling. Or sometimes, you know, on commissions, like people are like, yo, I want this. And I'm like, okay, how can I like, okay, you want green, but like, let's use like 3 different greens and throw them together. I like doing stuff like that too.
Oh, that's fire.
That's how that hoodie came out.
How many greens did you use?
That's like 3 different greens. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, that was super fun. So I get them obviously as blank white garments, and then sometimes I get to see, shout out Hazel, sometimes I don't. So it's like, oh, I kind of want to see what he puts on there. So it's super fire, man. It's been a blessing to be able to work with him.
How did you two end up? Basically, I love to say it. Hayes ran the pop-up game all 2021.
He was going crazy.
Crazy. Every other month.
It was dope to be a part of it, man.
Did a lot of the colors or ideas come from you guys? Like, all right, how can we outdo the next one? Or was the kind of the palette Hayes brought to you, and you just like knocked it out of the park like you always do?
I think a little bit of both. And then on the most recent one we did, like he had some like colors in mind. But then, like, the main thing he said to me, and it just, like, stuck with me, I was like, yo, like, do you want me to just straight dye these, or do you want me to, like, tie them up? Like, what do you want me to do as far as, like, how do you want me to apply the dye? And he was just like, have fun. So I kind of just took that and ran with it. And then I think your question before is how we got linked up. I would have to say Umi. Yeah. Shout out Big Bro. Another person who really, like, connects people and, you know, brings people together. So
he does a great job at it, too.
Yeah, he's that boy.
I was gonna say certified not an actor.
Come on,
Big Umi in the chat. Sorry. Oh, that was so loud. I'm sorry.
No, bro, stop apologizing. We have control of what you
Y'all
do.
got it on the back. Y'all got it on the back end. It's good. It's good.
The be like, what the fuck?
They'll be like, damn, we can hear Tavares. That's all they should be thinking.
Where you been for 69 episodes?
They need to not 69, like 50, like before Tavares ran. I used to be the quiet one on the pod in the beginning. If you go back and watch those early episodes, Tavares is like shacking the paint on.
I used to get on him too.
Okay,
bro, talk more.
Bro. Yeah, bro, I'd be like,
I don't think I'm as hip on the earth. I was definitely hopped on a little late, and then just like started right. But I don't think I went back and like watched a lot.
25 minutes straight,
to go back.
Bro.
The early ones
I'm about to get in the archives.
Are gems, but they're rough. If you watch them back then, we were
us two or us in the family, or the ones with Solana. Those are our bag. Like,
yes.
We're all 3 of us.
I think I have seen some of those.
When we're all talking together, that's when we were getting in our bag. But before that, when it was just me and Corey, and then like one of the homies, it's really like, oh my God, what do we say without like direction? Because we would link up and be like, so what are we doing, guys? And we're like, okay, let's do this. And it's like, yeah. Okay,
those early stages, bro. I'll
never take them for granted.
Nah, it got us. It definitely let us know like how to operate, because there would be times where like him and I would just be talking at the same time, or just like not knowing who should leave what conversation, or just like there's times when like Tavares is a lot more of a historian and like he knows real facts, and sometimes I just be talking. So like I look to him to be like, all right, does this?
That's like me and Bach.
Does this actually make sense? Is this real shit? Like a lot of times I'll stop talking and just like look at him and like wait for him to chime in, because I'm like, this is something he probably told me and like I don't really know it firsthand. So having him own that space and just be able to be like, nah, like that's kind of right, but like this is like the facts about it, and like these are like this is what I've actually read and learned and shit like that. So having Tavares be the duo is always great.
Doing the homework, man. We appreciate it. Another one.
Come on.
What the heck, man?
Come on. That was some good Tranquil.
Man, I was just about to get into that, but I was gonna say,
what was that?
If you on the other side,
What was that?
Pick and roll.
Okay. See us packed out.
Okay.
You see us packed out.
Oh,
pick and roll.
That's
Forest.
That's Gary. It's Gary Payne and Shabachio. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was a good cross because I haven't had their Gary Payne specifically. So I really like the cut that Tranquil got. It kind of got me high over here. Coffeeholics is bringing me back.
Yeah, they be going crazy.
Yeah. For all my marijuana enthusiasts out there, especially in the room, do you guys think or let me phrase it like this: dispensary pack or ungentrified pack? Which one are we going with?
You already answered it. You just went ungentrified pack.
Definitely.
And I don't think there's a lot of ungentrified pack in the dispensary.
Shout out Floss.
But I did mention earlier, I think before we were actually live, Portland, they do be having pack that's not gentrified out there.
Really?
Yes. Like you go there, it's still kind of like medical days. Like if I'm like open a jar,
Ooh.
like smell it, you know?
Touch
or
it.
like if they're like even showing me a gram of rosin, bro. I know this is crazy because you still in the I-502. They're unscrewing one. They might even have a display and they're like,
smell it.
And you smell it.
With the rosin?
With the rosin.
Whoa.
With the rosin. They just have one display.
I missed
and
that.
then at the end, like if they sell all of them, they'll like heavily discount that one. Like they're doing it like the right way. And they deal with like local farms and stuff and still have like, your certain, milligrams. They still have all the testing. Like, bro, even the packaging, I'll open, like a little rosin box and it'll have like a little card maybe in it, or it might be on the actual box, but it'll have the whole terpene like profile layout with the graph. And like have like, it might be a collaboration with a farm, and you know exactly where your shit came from. Like, Washington is like, there's like, I don't know, 3 to 5 companies that rotate in and out that I trust, and Tranquil has rotated in and hasn't rotated out. They're like one of the only ones that I like. My homie still ask me for Rex, and I'm like, yeah, their shit's fire. And then there's shit that like that was, when I was more in the industry, even like a year or 2 ago, and I'm like, I can't recommend that to them because I don't know anymore.
Exactly.
It's scary.
Yeah,
it's a state certified pack.
It's not good.
It's scary.
It's not. It's not as good as weed was in medical days, and the variety is so trash. It's like, and this is the weird thing about like I would feel like the time we're in, just like going from kids and like young adults and adults is like. A lot of it is just copying whatever the fuck else they're seeing as pop. Like no one is like trying to reinvent the wheel anymore, and it's very rare for people to be like, all right, let me throw paint at the wall and like let's see if this is a good genetic. Let me just try it. I don't care how much it yields. I want good weed. I want to try some good variation of this weed, and I feel like we as a state have been very like limited. Who's really throwing paint at the wall, and like in a lot of ways,
a lot of shit don't make sense. Like there's like they say our shit's so regulated because everything's prepackaged, right?
Yeah.
But there's no regulation on like what is required. Like I buy stuff or see stuff in the store and there's no harvest date on it.
Oh yeah.
Or there's no like percent. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different things that are.
Can I hit you guys with a new industry law that is insane?
I would love to hear it.
No more electronic manifests.
Huh?
So they're having all human.
So everything's paper.
Everything's paper.
So. Even with to add with all the horrible packaging and plastic that's used, let's add
some paper.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Kyle over there, he counted like 10 of the eighths, but there's only.
Oh my gosh! And you got to do this all. When did they do that?
About a month ago.
Damn.
Yeah, our LCB doesn't really. It's like if you.
No, that's the fucked up part. The LCB.
They don't.
Even when they started.
What are they?
No. Even when they started, what does cannabis have to do with liquor?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Even at the whole start of this, we already had somewhat of a. It was unregulated as fuck. So there was some super sketchy shit happening in medical days. Don't get it fucked up. There was good stuff too if you knew how to shop and knew the growers, whatever.
Exactly.
But it's still kind of the Wild West. Whereas now, it's pretty much still the Wild Wild West. They just try to act like it's not. And now it's like pre-packaged. Like, I could literally sell you a gorgeous eighth, and it'd be the most hay smelling bullshit you've ever smelled, and you're gonna be pissed. But it's like I don't really know that until you walk out the door.
Exactly.
One, like I don't know any shop that provides enough samples or ample amount, or even vendors that's like I've pretty much smoked everything on this shelf, you know, or would want to, or to know a little bit.
Yeah,
like, it's so weird.
It's so sketchy. It's ran by a bunch of people who didn't smoke weed before it was like legalized, and you could tell they're like listening to people, mostly lawyers, that are like, all right, these make sense. I don't really give a fuck about what the product is like, but these make sense for like logistics, and like we like shit you put in your body shouldn't break down to logistics, especially on like if there's so many other examples of like how it should be ran. Like it's not like we legalized after Oregon. Why did we go, you know what? They're doing some great shit over there. Let's change our shit. Let's like Colorado's killing it right now because they like copied Oregon, and there's just some sort of just like rhyme or reason to people who like were smoking weed before still understand how to smoke weed now. I feel like Washington went like, you know what? We don't give a fuck about that.
No, there's no. And the owners of the stores are literally people who won the monopoly. And like, yes, I won the monopoly because I had hella money to put into monopoly.
Exactly.
This is years ago.
Insane.
But then I want to say in Colorado, I don't know if it's still law, but I think you have to grow a certain amount of plants on site. Like you have to grow a certain amount of your own flower at a shop, which I think that's how it should be at pretty much any shop.
That makes so much sense.
Like
if you know how the plant works, you can own a business.
And you don't have bullshit.
Wouldn't it be cool? You know, you can as a customer physically see where your weed comes from. Yeah. Just like, you know, if you go to the fucking almond roca factory or some shit, you get a tour, you're looking around, you're like, oh, that's how they do that shit. It'd be the same. It should be the same with weed, but
it's hella weird.
But you can get, you know, I don't think like the general public knows, but like there's, you know, people on Instagram accounts and shit. You could tap in with growers, or like, you know, these brands and be like, hey, I would love a tour, just as, you know, a civilian. And that's something that's doable. I feel like a lot of people don't know. So if you ever do want to like tap in,
check your weed out.
You know, tap in.
I never knew that.
Yeah,
as a civilian, I never knew.
I mean, because I've been in and out of the industry, so I mean, maybe it's because I like am more in the know, but I'm like technically, you know, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I've got invited to some grows just off people showing love. So there's still good people out there that are, you know, passionate about cannabis.
That'll show you.
Yeah, Tranquil cookie jar cannabis. Those dudes are fucking amazing. They're hard to find personally for me because I live in the TAC. Yeah, they kind of like get sprinkled out there every once in a while.
But you guys are supposed to get.
Those are like the two brands that I know. Like I can like tell people, and they're not, you know, they're gonna get treated well.
You guys are supposed to get Tranquil's supposed to be moving out there to Tacoma.
Yeah. It's been in the works for a while.
So you guys will have. I think you guys will probably. Damn, I gotta start.
Tranquil's one that's easier to find in Tacoma. I was more talking about
cookie jar. I have yet to have it. My homie did a collab with them. They named either it was a collab where they named a strain after.
Talking about the homie Cole.
Yeah.
The Forbidden.
Yeah.
Ooh. No, that was a collab.
It was.
Yeah,
was a collab?
He's really close with them. He's the one who put me on them.
Oh, that's fire. Yeah. Shout out Cole. That I've yet to try it yet, but I hear it's good. All the homies that smoke weed is fire. Fuego. So shout out. Yeah, get you some cookie jar, especially that forbidden fruit. I had a really cool question, but I forgot. So what's your favorite type of vintage today? Because I know it probably like changes.
It's kind of fucked up, man, because I've always been like a 90s kid. So like all that shit. And then like the early 2000s is like when I got old enough to like understand shit. So that's all the shit that I want. And it's like what's super popping and hype right now.
Yeah.
So like I've had that. And then like in vintage, I've like sold off my whole collection, kind of like recouped stuff. Like that's just like, especially when you're working for yourself, sometimes it's like shit's got to go. I got to pay the bills.
Exactly.
So like I've definitely had a lot of pieces, and I'm like kicking myself now. There's like shirts I've had like even just as recent as 3 or 4 years ago. There were like $20, $30 shirts that are like, oh, these are $100 shirts now. Oh. So it's making some of the shit that I want a little bit, you know, harder to get. But I really like early 2000s like hip hop stuff, and like I love like anything with the fucking chick on it. So like I feel like a bunch of just weird shirts like that. And then champion jerseys, they kind of like fluctuate with the season. So that's another thing I'm able to get my hands on. But
that's fire.
I'd say mainly 90s and, you know, 2000 shit, just because I'm most knowledgeable about that. But, you know, like a lot of the homies are into true vintage and like 50s, 60s, 70s shit, and I'm able to like kind of get some sprinkles of that here and there, but it's not like as much my bag. I'm just like still infatuated with the 90s and early 2000s.
That's fire. I feel like that's one of my favorite eras of like style, just because they were always trying to reinvent the wheel. And
it was just loud and just aggressive.
You know, you had to be you, what you were wearing, especially if you had like a starter or any sort of like 5-pin at the time. You were just like, you had to own that and be able to fight for it.
I'm wearing a hat. I have no idea what this team is, but like it goes with my fit. And I'm going crazy.
Exactly. Like I missed the because I was like a kid during the early 2000s, so just the whole New York era of just like big jerseys and just like do-rags and that didn't make sense, and just like I wore a bandana over a do-rag once as a kid. I hope there's no photos of it, but just like shit like that where just like it was fun. I feel like early 2000s, late 90s, like that era was just like fun, just because you got to just try shit out, and if it didn't work, like there was no way to like record that day. So it was just like the outfit didn't work. Got to piece it together differently because I spent my bread on it.
Yeah, that is different. But still, people were getting flicked
exactly.
up. There's still flicks out there. Low key somewhere.
And I missed they need to come back with the big bedazzled cartoon hip hop t-shirts.
Facts. They're starting to. They're starting to like dibble and dabble. I feel like just the bedazzled shit's just coming back in general. So it's coming. I just don't know who's gonna do it.
Tavares used to have this big ass,
like the lot 29 joints and like the
I had this one that said the ghetto diploma, and I got it from my big cousin. My big cousin, Mama, he would come. He would give me all his old clothes, and he would always wear oversized shit. And he come through with a big bag of clothes. And I would always take all the big ass like 5X tees, 4X
tees. Shirts.
Yep,
those are BNI shirts. What we call them.
The Bugs Bunnies.
Those are amazing. The Tupac and like his rings are like on the shirt. Yeah, I got a few of those pieces. Those are some of my favorite like early 2000s pieces too.
I just felt so comfortable in it. It was like I don't know, the cloth that they had, the heavy.
It's good.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Most of those are on like pro clubs or like fake bootleg pro clubs. Like, so they're nice thick tees. That's already what you want to wear. So you're already feeling good.
My dad used to sell. He would take Marvel covers and like I didn't know it was DTG then, but he would DTD hella Marvel colors and just like on hoodies and just like jug them out of it, or just make for personal wears and just like that era of just like kind of just like you see something I'm like. There's no shirts I can really buy that. I'm about to make my own and just like sell them out.
Or somebody got something similar. It might not be the real deal, but it's gonna work.
Close enough.
You know?
It say the right shit.
Thanks.
Oh fuck. I'm usually very dominant on my
that pick and roll beating your ass.
I'm usually like fighting the weed, but like you were telling the story about the South Pacific, and I was kind of steaming over here. I felt it. I felt it like, man, I want to pass this weed to him so badly, but this is a really important topic, and I don't need him stumbling through.
Thank you, brother.
No, I got you. I'm willing to take that risk for the both of us.
As being a Tacoma native, how has the development in the city affected you personally?
Man, there's just so many. Like, I don't think I've ever, like, this kind of like when I'm driving around, like, I'd be, like, joking, but I'd be dead ass. Like, I've never seen this many out-of-state plates in Tacoma. From states that don't even make sense anymore. Yeah. You know, just not even on the highway. Like, you're in the city. And then just, like, it's, like, people that are like, I don't know, like maybe like 30 to 40 years old, they're like taking up any bar. Doesn't matter what kind of bar it was before, they're here now. There's high rises everywhere. Yeah. Like it's just different. Like I'm just seeing a lot of different stuff in all different parts of Tacoma. I feel like there's some parts of the TAC that are kind of going to be untouchable. Yeah. But I mean, that's for, 10, 20 years. Then I'm going to be like looking back at this and laughing because that's going to be an apartment too. Everything's a fucking apartment now and everything's a condo. So it's weird, man. Prices are going up for sure. It's super weird.
I'm curious. Like I've been curious for a while. I'm like, what do their hometowns look like now? Like everyone, like the Nebraska.
I'm trying to move there. The thrifts are probably hitting
crazy.
Everyone's donating their shit, moving to the TAC. Like, where should I should be like, where you from? I'm like Minnesota. Some shit. Like, I'm out of here.
Delaware.
Like,
I see. Delaware.
I don't fucking know, dude. I've seen Alaska. I'm like, how did you even get out here?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Rhode
like,
Island
why'd you drive
was
that?
crazy one time. I was like, Rhode Island.
A lot of New York.
I've seen states that like I literally if like there was a blank map, I couldn't point at the state. But you're in the TAC or in Seattle. Like I'm like, oh
yeah, I've been here for a few years. I working in customer service industry. I always like respectfully like press them like, oh, what made you move here, and what's going on in your city that you got to go to watch. Well, we just got a job. I'm like, where are you? Where the fuck are you working?
Everyone tech, but then like it's like they were working remote jobs, but then they're moving here. I'm like,
where's the tech?
Bro, fuck you guys, bro.
That's what they be saying. I'm in tech. I'm like, all right, doing
what? Let me see your app, bro.
I be a salty ass local, bro. Like that should be kind of hurting me because like, bro, all these job opportunities, but we have like one of the highest homeless rates. Highest cost of living, like, and then like majority of our major cities have been like they've been built by the red line neighborhoods that make up those cities. And I'd be like, bro, these. Yeah. I can fish transplant out if they're good or not, you know. Yeah. I could test them, easily. I can smell them, bro. I can smell if you're like a transplant, you're like, oh, you're just here, or if you're a transplant, you're really trying to be here.
Or you got people's here or something.
Yeah, it's a difference. It's a difference, and like it just baffles me because I'm like, bro, there's all these job opportunities, like why are we struggling? Why is there people still struggling out here?
Same in Tacoma and Seattle, bro, with all the old ass buildings.
Yeah.
I don't know like how many buildings that like just are not functional that are closed down that they're doing nothing with. But like it can't be anything for anybody. Like if you go in there, it's condemned and you're so it's
residential areas too.
Housing, it's sad, man.
I'm just curious, like, what's the city? I guess the city's plan is to move all these people in and like revamp, but like you lose the reason why people move here. And I say it often of like Washington, like locals make whatever city you move to special. Because if not, you got a bunch of just shit and like a bunch of random people that'll make like different stories and then they'll leave when it's time to leave. Like I feel like all the people that have moved here in the last 5, 6, 7 years will be out in the next 5, 6, 7 years when there's another tech boom in Arizona or Texas, like, because that's where everybody moved now. So, like, it's weird to build a city on that plan of, like, yeah, we got so many people coming here for this 2-3 years with
that's no... the prices go up for, too.
There's no...
So none of the locals can get their hands on anything or any, like, real estate. Yeah. Like, you see new condos, like, oh, that would be dope to live there. Like, that's all you can say. It would be dope, but like nobody you even maybe know. There was already condos in Tacoma that I'm like, oh shit, I got a homie who's like dating this girl, lives in this cool condo. That was like in high school. Yeah. Now there's like who knows how many more condos, and I'm like, I don't know anybody who lives in any of these.
That'd be the fucked up part. It like, and the same shit happens they just rebuilt the CD, and I wonder how many people like that grew up in the city still like live
no one's
or just
reaping the benefits who's from there. That's the most fucked up part.
It's just weird, and it just like I don't know. I always feel like it always sets us back for like a culture boom when you like displace what's going on, like because like I feel like we always have this like thriving creativeness in certain pockets of the city, and then like the city is like, oh, like we're redeveloping because like we want more. Like it's always this like plea of like, oh yeah, like this community got like there's the best deli in Seattle or like the best deli in Tacoma. It's like, oh, it's so popping here. We're just gonna like take up the corner over here and like they'll be straight, they'll like it'll be better for the neighborhood, and it's usually better for the neighborhood for like a year. They reap all that money and then the rent is like crazy, and it's always some bullshit like, oh, my cousin doesn't live there no more, or like Cuddy had to move to Puyallup or the Spokane, or like I feel like they want us all to live on the east side with all the races that don't really fuck with us anyway. So it's like it's weird that's Washington's like mindset is like, yeah, we don't fuck with Eastern Washington and we don't really fuck with like black people in general in Washington. So we're just gonna force them to like come click up together and just like thrive it out.
And they're the ones who made it cool to live here.
Yeah.
Let me switch it up for the groovers at home real quick. Can I get a hand clap for all the fucking locals? Yes. You feel me? You know, for as long as I've been living here, all my existence has been going crazy. There's lovely locals from Seattle, from Tacoma, from anywhere and everywhere out here. So if you're listening in on KWJT, you feel me? You're dope. You go crazy. Locals are the ones who the locals, like Hoody, like all our past guests, like that we put on the show. Like this is the dope culture that we continue to push each and every day, and it's important for you guys to know. I'm sorry.
No, you're good money.
Crazy. Sorry, that's that G Fuel. We can bleep that out, but that shit gotta be going.
Yeah, if they cutting the check,
or is it the crack? I've been saying that like for the past weekend. I'm like doing something crazy. I'm like, I think that's a crack.
What were you about to say about the?
I was about to say, are they cutting the check?
No.
Then you gotta cut it.
Yeah, definitely. No, I learned that. Definitely, there's like 3 full episodes of no free promo.
Yeah. We. That's the first thing I learned. When building a podcast, I'm like, you'll just talk about anything you like, and I'm like, sooner or later, those motherfuckers got to pay us because we like you. Sure. I see you trying to get the IPA.
Don't even say it.
Oh, yeah. You should have cut the check.
I'm back. I'm just drinking water.
We on core. Core cut the check.
We on core.
Cut the check.
Please cut the check.
Please.
We got plenty of ideas.
Come on.
We got a whole creative team just ready to go on multiple ends. So
however you need a new marketing, I know some guys in the tag that rebrand your whole shit.
We're not speaking of the Voldemort brand anymore.
Exactly.
Should have cut the check. We're on to a new year. I gave multiple opportunities.
And they were getting good reps. I was like, I'm about to drive.
They're not even popping on the gram like that. I was like, I'm not the super most popping, but like I could do some.
I could do some shit. I know some people that that
send a few things out.
I got connections. That's at least I got.
I'd love to see So I mean, obviously we have the Tranquil sponsor, but I would love to see a Groovy beverage sponsor. So anybody who got a beverage, even locally, I'll take a local beverage too if it's good. Tap in. I'm
trying to. I think we're gonna start a relationship with Mel's Juices. I think Mel Jones Juices. He's the homie that works out of aisle. No, I wouldn't say he works out of aisle 4, but spends a lot of time in aisle 4 just cooking up with us. Okay. So I'm trying to bring his juices onto the pod and just have that kind of like circulating, just because it's like he's the homie as well as like the juices are fire, and I already know there's like a community that would tap in and like just like the weed, I like to support things that already fuck with us. So I think that'll. I don't know if he'll come on as an official sponsor, but we'll have his juices here. And I want to start building more shit out where local people can come get a little ad time, like get you a little sponsorship. Hopefully you pay for your sponsorship, like unless you're like the homie where I'm trying to debut some shit. We can do some shit, but like. Definitely trying to bring more dollars into the podcast area and the Groovy team, just so that we can do more crazy shit. Because that'd be dope.
Love it.
We spent this.
I was also gonna add,
I'll be cutting you.
dollars and subscriptions. Subscribe,
sub. Turn the noti on.
Subscribe.
So we need a new king.
Noti.
We need a new king. Someone start beating me on the comments.
Post noti like Hoody.
Come on.
We gonna start. When we drop our next piece, I'm gonna gift you one just because of your consistency, a part of the community. I'm trying to do more things in that aspect of like, cause like last time we dropped a hoodie, we did a raffle. But yeah, every time someone like, I'm trying to give back to the community just because like people spend their time up here. Like we aren't the hugest platform, but people still come spend their weekends with us, come give some game, so we're going to start doing more things where we can give back to people who fuck with us and like our core community and really build out that shit. Cause like we've done 70 great episodes. I think this is 71. And
I'm cooking. Y'all have to a good start this year too.
Yeah. This month is this is our month to the further south end. It's basically from South Seattle to Tacoma. Yeah. So
okay.
That's all we're doing for the next like few episodes. So you'll see a lot of homies from the Pierce County, and I don't know what the other county is before that, but a lot of people.
I just know King and Pierce.
Yeah, there's like something with a T further, and there's a few of them.
Is it Thurston?
Yeah, I think it's Thurston County. Yeah,
that's like Olympia, I think.
Yeah, they. So yeah, I only know the two. The only two counties that are important.
That matter.
Exactly. So
sorry,
they're the only things that run shit in the town. So, yeah, this month will be. It's basically. I want to say it's our thank you to those areas for fucking with us, because like we're a Seattle based podcast, but everyone thinks we're based out of Tacoma, which I love.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hard. I didn't know that.
Four people have been like, bro, I thought I was gonna have to drive to Tacoma today, and I was like, nah, like we're not in Tacoma. So, but it's but it's love though. That's a place that is showed nothing but love. So we're always gonna show love back, and you are one of those kings that really like stamped a lot of things that like are cool now, and like spawned a lot of community events that are like happening, but that weren't happening before. I know we definitely should have spoke on it before the hour, but Hoody ran the first vintage pop up. Was it you and Baca?
Me and Baca.
You and Baca.
Like 2013 or something.
Come on,
Dunk Exchange.
So
shout out Il Chris.
They're a real originator into a lot of things that happen now, and a lot of people getting a lot of money off this vintage idea in the state.
Man, it's going crazy.
But the originators are from Pierce County. The reason a lot of people are able to get this vintage money in the state of Washington comes from Pierce County, and I think it's dope. And I think it should be celebrated. And man, I just got to give a hand clap.
Appreciate y'all for that.
Nah, I think it's dope, and I think it's like. At best, like this platform is utilized to like show the history that's important. Like it's not like, I know you and Baca especially aren't looking for everybody to be like co-sign that as like is what it is, because you guys don't do it for that. But like I love that this can always be the internet's not gonna die. It'll always live on the internet. Who started these trends? And when the kids are looking up 10, 15 years ago, and like, oh, these are moguls now, and there's so many empires that they built. The first couple interviews, were from local people from, shout out to Spencer on Tacked In. That's where I got a lot of this game that I could give to Hoody outside of just like talking to Hoody and fucking with Hoody. But like, that was, there's a good place to start if you're trying to learn some Tacoma shit. I
think we start with ETC.
Oh, yes.
Great place to start.
That's a great place to start. You get fitted, you get some knowledge. You might make a friend.
Might get a Daz deal.
You might get a Daz deal. You gotta ask though. You gotta ask. But yeah, I just truly want to thank you specifically for like helping bridge that connection and just always being a friend first before like anything else.
Yeah, no, likewise, right back at both of you.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate you guys for real. Thank you for having me as well.
Of course.
What was that? The you should have been there. I think
there was a lot of them.
I think that's when we first met.
Officially met, yeah, I think so.
Feels like yesterday.
Hold up, before we get out of here, Hoody owes one of my he bought a print. That's how
early print.
Early print. Come on, like
shout out John.
Shout out to John. I just want to let you know where the love is with me and Hoody, just because like a lot of people is like, oh, that's filthy, but Hoody spent the dollars. So don't forget that. Never forget that.
If you don't got the dollars, hit the like, hit the subscribe, put the noties on, all that.
Easy, I'm trying to get the ads. Like if you don't got YouTube Premium, I'm trying to hit your ass with an ad in the middle of this. Subscribe. Come on.
Yeah, get us to that 1,000. We can really start pushing out really real cool shit for you guys at home. We're trying to include the community, and we're trying to go crazy. Man.
I've been smoking this wood forever.
Can you also hit another hand clap?
Yes, another one.
I just want to bask in it real quick.
I just want to bask in it real quick. Shout out to my co-host. He really showed out today for you guys.
Yeah, shout out to the both of you. And the stories. I loved every part of it, man. Appreciate y'all for real.
Man, KWJT, you've been grooving with this South. We got Hoody. We got Koi. We got Corey. We got Solana.